We caused a bomb threat at our rival high school. Junior year of high school, I went to Covcath at the time, and I ran track. This particular Friday, we had a track meet all the way up, and it was actually at the University of Dayton. The track team was permitted to leave their final class of the day about 30 minutes early, just to give us a head start in case we needed to go home, whatever, before the meet. Me and my buddy Joe, we were riding up with our teammate Goose, and Goose was a year older than us on the team. He was one of those wild guys who's always saying crazy stuff, always doing crazy things, and we just liked hanging out with him because we thought he was the funniest dude in the world. He had this crazy, like, southern drawl to him, and he was always saying just crazy shit. And he said to us, "Hey, since we all got to run in this meetup in Dayton, you guys just come back to my house, and I'll drive us up after we stop by my house or whatever." And we're like, "Okay, sounds good." And at the time, I was obsessed with making these things called Works bombs. And what a Works bomb is you take the Works toilet bowl cleaner, you put balls of aluminum foil in a plastic bottle, and then you spray the toilet bowl cleaner in, and it creates this chemical reaction, expands the plastic bottle. Once the lid is screwed on, it expands to the point where it explodes. And it takes a minute or two for it to expand enough to explode. And like I said, I was obsessed with them, and I found out that the thicker the bottle that you use, like the more dense the plastic, it would create the bigger bang explosion. And you could get him to sound like a damn bazooka going off, like a cannon, if you use a thick enough plastic bottle. And like I said, I had him down. I was so obsessed with making these things because it was like our weekend entertainment in high school. I had a preloaded mix where I would have all these empty bottles stuffed in a backpack or a duffel bag with the aluminum foil balls already in there. So when we were running around in neighborhoods, I'd be running around with a backpack of like 10 pre-made bombs, spray the toilet bowl cleaner in, and we're chucking them all over the place. Like, that was our entertainment. And I was always telling stories about it at track. So Goose and Joe wanted to see a Works bomb in action. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you at your house." He's like, "No. On our way home, you're going to make one, you're going to throw it out the window at something." I'm like, "Oh shit," like, okay, whatever. Because Goose was a year older than us. He's kind of like my big brother. Joe was kind of like my little brother at the time. So it was like, oh, this will be entertaining as shit for us. So we get out of Covcath about 20, 30 minutes early from school, and we're driving down Dixie Highway. And Goose is like, "Start making that Works bomb, Ziegler. I want to see it." I'm like, "All right." So I'm making this concoction in the car, and I have a Gatorade bottle, which is like the thickest plastic bottle you can get for Works bomb. Like, I know how loud it's going to be because I've been doing these for like 2 months, right? We go past the Kroger there in Fort Mitchell and hang a right, and we're going down Beechwood Road right as I'm finishing up this Works bomb. So I'm like, "Hey guys, we got about a minute once I spray this liquid in. I got to chuck it." So as we hang the right down Beechwood Road, I make the Works bomb, spray it in, screw the lid on, and I'm like, I got to throw it. Well, I look to my right, and it's all these neighborhood houses and the freaking high school. And I'm like, I can't throw it in front of Beechwood School, dude. Like, and I'm screaming at Goose, "I need you to step on it. I need you to accelerate so I don't throw it at the school." And he's like, "Oh my God, you're right." He accelerates. Mind you, we are in a 2003 Toyota Camry, spray painted black, no hubcaps, and it wasn't the drug dealer car. It was the school shooter car because it didn't even have tinted windows. Like, you could see what we were doing in here, right? And Goose always had all kinds of shit loaded up in it. So we're in that vehicle flying down Beechwood Road, and I have this bomb that's about to explode, and I'm like, I can't throw it in front of the high school, dude. We will go to jail. Like, and this was back in like 2014, 2015. I think it was my junior year of high school. So even then, we were like, this is bad, dude. Like, we will get caught if we do this. So as we're passing the high school, I can feel the bottle starting to expand. I'm like, I'm going to blow my freaking hand off, dude. Like, I need you to punch it. He accelerates a little bit past Beechwood High School, and in between the neighborhood houses and the school itself, there's like this, and I don't know if it's still there, but there was like this hill of like ivory vines and grass that, like, it was the only like non-developed thing in that stretch of road. So I just whip it out the window. We get to this four-way stop up the street. Boof, you hear the bomb go off. We're laughing like some fools and drive to Goose's house, go to the track meet. Rest of the day is what it is. Don't think anything of it. Next day, come into school, and like I said, we were up in Dayton all afternoon at a track meet. None of us even liked running track at the time, so I come in. I remember being like half awake for school the next day, and Goose finds me in the hallway. He's like, bro, were you watching the local news last night? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, Beechwood held their kids after school for like an hour because of some type of explosion near the property. We were freaking out. We're like, dude, holy shit. Like, what if they have your car on camera to get your license plate number? He's like, I don't think I was close enough to the school for them to get pictures of my car on camera or whatever. But we were just like, holy shit. And the thing is, like, if they were to go, handle it, even if they got like serious into investigating the explosion, they would have just found what looks like a bunch of litter because it just ends up being like leftover aluminum foil and plastic everywhere when these things go off. That's why they were such a deadly prank for people, for us anyway, because there was hardly any evidence. Just looked like some litter in your yard, and this explosion would go off. So works bombs, very dangerous. Wouldn't recommend them unless, I guess. I couldn't say you don't recommend them because they were a great time, but I don't want any kids out there blowing their fingers off or anything with them. And the reason I'm thought of the story is I heard like earlier this week that Beechwood and Boone County had bomb threats at their school. And growing up as a kid who always loved pranks in and out of school, I don't understand why the fake bomb threats are like the new wave thing that keeps happening at all these high schools, I feel like, especially because, like, what is the point? And I'm genuinely asking, like, what is the point of calling it a bomb threat on your own school? Like, I get that usually you get a day off school or whatever for safety purposes, but isn't it a felony? Like, don't they always end up tracking and finding out who made the bomb threat? Like, and I feel like most of the time I've heard these stories, it's some kids jokingly texting back and forth, and then somebody puts it on like their Snapchat story or social media, and you end up getting like suspended, expelled, or like federally criminally charged for it. So I just don't. I guess I'm just trying to understand the point of a bomb threat as a high schooler nowadays. Because, like, don't get me wrong, growing up, I was all about the pranks. Even to this day, I'm very immature and love that type of humor with shit. But I don't understand calling in a bomb threat to your own school because you either get stuck there for multiple hours the rest of the day because they're worried about letting the students out. You end up, I get that you get a day off of school, but then you end up getting caught and getting punished in school by the school and potentially criminally charged for that shit. So I guess I just don't understand the point of bluffing on a bomb threat. I guess I'm just trying to ask anyone who's still in high school or college that has been a part of that or has done something stupid like that. Like, I just don't get it. Like, and that's coming from someone who's done a ton of stupid shit, especially in high school. I just don't understand the bomb threat thing. Like, hey, we're going to call in a bomb threat on our own school, so we're stuck here for multiple hours after the day, and then we might get criminally charged for it. Like, that's a head scratcher for me. I don't understand it. So if anyone can answer that in the comments, I would love to try to understand the point of calling it a bomb threat on your own school. Like I said, because again, like, that's the only reason I even thought of the story that we had, and ours was totally unintentional. And we were terrified. We were terrified that we were going to, like, be criminally charged or thrown out of school or arrested or whatever the punishment is for accidentally creating a bomb threat. Like I said, and in our case, nobody was in actual danger. We didn't, like, text the school or threaten anyone at Beechwood. We were just messing around. I'm trying to show my buddies this new prank I found, and we had a terrible timing with where we took the turn when I made the works bomb. So I guess that's just something I personally don't understand in today's society, and I just was trying to get the perspective on what you guys think of this bomb threat stuff that goes on in the schools today. Especially, I feel like, so I graduated from high school in 2016. I was right on the cusp of like when there was no privacy, right? Like, we all just have to accept nowadays that, like, whether it's the government or whoever owns these social media platforms that we use or the sites that we use or Apple or whatever it is, like, we have no privacy. Nothing that you do on a phone in today's society is hidden. That's why I feel like you just have to either have absolutely no shame in what you're doing and nothing to hide, and you better not be embarrassed if it all gets leaked or whatever, or you better be very fucking careful on what you do. Like, it's one or the other. There is no in between in our society today. There's just no privacy. So I feel for kids that, you think you're making a harmless joke to a buddy over text, like, oh, you blow up the school. Because, like, I can see myself saying something stupid like that in the right joking context, but I don't understand why it gets publicly leaked by whoever's having these conversations. Like, is that intentional for you to get a day off of school and then you end up like totally screwing yourself over because then you're basically a terrorist? Like what is the thought behind that? So that's something that's a head scratcher for me with this generation of high school kids, because I don't remember, like, I was in high school for 4 years, luckily only 4 years, and like a bomb threat was just never a thing. Like there was nothing that, like, even the most deviant students that I was usually me or my friends in speaking in that context, we were never like, ooh, let's cook up a fake bomb threat. That'll get us a day off. Like, no. So I'm just trying to understand it. It's a head scratcher for me, and I thought the Works bomb story for that, us accidentally causing one at Beechwood back in the day, was pretty funny. And like I said, I only thought of it because I think they had like a bomb threat recently, or one of the local Northern Kentucky high schools did. So that's today's episode. One of my favorite stories. Hope everybody's well. And like I said, if anyone can answer the bomb threat logic, I'd love to hear from you all on that, because I just personally don't get it. And we'll be back in more episodes soon. Talk some time.
Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away after shake and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more.
And we're good.